Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Locker Room 411 report. This is the HJCAC. My name is Brett Quintine, and much like last episode, I'm joined by two more outstanding Maricopa Mustangs. That is quarterback Cody Lazenby and defensive end Justin Holmes. Fellas, how are you guys?
Good.
Doing good.
How are you?
Doing good.
Doing well. Glad you guys were able to come down and a little pre-practice interview.
Yep.
That's for sure. You guys have a big game later this week, and we'll certainly get into that. But you guys have been having a decent season, perhaps maybe the one-loss record. You might like to be on the opposite side, but just kind of tell us about just how things have been going. Is this what you guys expected in your first year of football after high school? I'll start with you, Cody.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun coming from Utah. It's been different, especially with like the weather. I'm not used to the heat this year, but team's been cool. League's fun. Met a lot of good guys, so it's been fun out here.
Good stuff. And how about yourself, Justin?
It's pretty fun. I really didn't know what to expect coming into this league.
Okay.
I was just coming in trying to have some fun. Another opportunity to play football.
Absolutely. No, that's the name of the game. I mean, football and the degree, and you guys are trying to have it go hand in hand, which definitely is a good thing. And we certainly support the HJCAC, obviously, which is why you guys are here. Cody, you are QB1, and Justin, we are not going to leave you out. We got a lot to talk about, but I'm going to start off with Cody. Starting quarterback, which is nothing short of outstanding. We're going to get a feel for your game. We're going to run some highlights. We're going to show a little bit of passing. We're going to show a little bit of your leg skills. You don't like guys tackling. You know how to shake some guys off of you, which I think is really cool. We're going to start with a touchdown pass from earlier this season. You can walk us through that play, so we'll have it going. And Cody, tell us what you're seeing right now.
So they're in, looks like a cover 4, maybe cover 2 man. We've been trying to hit that post all game, so those safeties, we were just trying to get it over them. They weren't playing too deep, especially that close to the end zone. Just floated over them. Joe, the one that caught the ball, he can outrun anybody, so I just throw it up for him and he'll run after it. So
outstanding.
Yeah.
Tell us about your in the huddle. What do you call? Take us through a quarterback's perspective of the huddle. What are you saying to the guys? Obviously the play call, but is there any extra of, hey, you know what, let's get this done?
Yeah, I mean, I always try to pump up the guys, especially when we're down and everybody's kind of upset. I try to lift them up, especially if it's a close game. People get upset. But, I always try to lift them up, get the game going, hype everybody up. That's pretty much it.
Sure. No, that is certainly your responsibility. You're the guy who's calling the plays and calling the shots. And no, that's for sure. The next play we're going to see is another pass play. And in my notes to Bill, our executive director, I put it's the thread the needle play. You got it through a couple of defenders. So let's check it out as Cody throws really a dime of a pass.
Oh, yeah. So, yes, that's Jay that caught the ball. That's kind of his route, slants, Well, he'll run everything, but you put that ball in anywhere close to him, he'll catch it. If I just throw it in there, try to make a play, he'll go after the ball no matter what. So it's kind of what I was going for.
I've never been a quarterback, so I've seen a lot of plays, obviously, but you're looking at your receiver, a lot of stuff going on in front of you. Are you just locked in on the receiver, or are you worried of, I don't want to use the term worried, guys kind of crossing and batting the ball down? What kind of goes through your head when you release that ball?
So on that one, I read that outside backer. He ended up going with the running back on like the swing route, so I threw it right behind his head, so somewhere where he couldn't go back and reach it. So that's what I was going for. Good
stuff. When I got to do one of you guys, you played the last game completely against Papago. I saw you guys earlier against South Mountain, I believe. You split time. Mm-hmm. What has been the difference of you getting on the field and you kind of evolving?
I think it's just more of a confidence thing. Earlier in the season, I wasn't very confident, coming from Utah, just being the younger guy. But as I got more minutes, got more playing time, I kind of got more confident with, college football in general. So I think that's a big factor.
Tell us about your offensive line. There's some big boys. We were looking at the roster that I have in front of me, and some heavy weights, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But you said they might even be heavier than that.
Yeah, they're some big boys. They do what they can. They have my back. I have theirs. So, we try to help each other out when we can.
Absolutely. And before we check in with the next play, we're going to bring in Justin a little bit. Let me ask you this. When the offense has the ball, you're resting. Kind of resting. You're figuring out when you may have to go back on the field. What goes on in a defensive lineman's mind like yourself when the offense has the ball?
Well, I like to think of the mistakes that I made last drive, what I can do better, to improve during the game.
Okay.
So that's always a thought.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Are you guys kind of keeping an eye on how far the ball is moving or keeping an eye on, hey, it's third down, we got to get ready, that sort of stuff? Okay. Now, are you with just your defensive linemen? Are you with some of the linebackers on the sideline? Like, what type of chatter goes on?
It's kind of a mix. We talk about the game, things we can do better, things D-line linebackers can do better, yeah.
Okay, no, good stuff. Yeah, I definitely always like to get perspective of both sides of the ball. Last week we had some special teams involved, so kind of understanding really all facets of football through the actual player's mind is always a big thing and great for our viewers. Let's go back to the other part of quarterbacking. We saw a couple of your passes. You get it done with your legs also. The last game, you had a rushing touchdown, and that was solid because the Puma defense was tough. But we're going to get a chance, and I'm going to have you kind of walk me through this next play. Looks like you had the kind of the read option potentially going on. Let's take a look.
Yeah, so on this play, I read that D end. So I either give it to that running back going on like the jet sweep kind of, or I pull it if the D end's going towards the running back. And it was kind of tight, so I just pulled it, hope for the best, fit the gap, got a few yards, and then got tripped up. But
you got more than a few yards.
Yeah.
That's a nice little gain. That's got to be a split-second decision. Everything's happening, and are you going to tuck it yourself? Are you going to push it into that running back's chest? Tell us about kind of that really instinct that you have to make that play successful.
Yeah, coaches have always told me that, like, if you're doubting it, just hand it off. If you don't know for sure, just give the running back the ball instead of trying to force something. But sometimes they're easy reads. That one was, it was tight, but it's just kind of gut feeling.
Sure. Continue with that play because you've kept it. Mm-hmm. Now you're kind of a running back, and you broke a couple of tackles on that one. Tell us about that play in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not scared to lower my shoulder if I have to. I don't want to take too many hits. Don't want to go down, but I always try to get the most extra yards if I have a chance to run out of bounds. Like if there's nowhere else to go, that's what I'll do instead of taking a hit that I don't need to take.
Something that I asked your teammates last week, and I'll ask both of you guys actually. Turf or grass? What's your preference? Most of the games seemingly are on turf in this league, but you guys in your high school careers obviously played on both. Tell us about the difference from a quarterback standpoint.
There's not much of a difference. Turf obviously hurts a lot more once you get tackled on it, but I would probably I'd probably prefer playing on turf just because grass, it has holes, and I feel like it's just not as nice as turf can be,
Fair enough. Justin, how about yourself from a defensive side of things?
I like playing on grass.
Grass? Okay.
Yeah, I love playing on grass. I hate falling on turf.
Okay, interesting. When it is, I'm going to say, muddy or slick out there, and we'll stay with you, Justin. For instance, the game the other day against Papago, how was the turf? Obviously, dry turf is probably different than wet, of course. Tell us kind of a little bit about what the conditions were like that night.
It wasn't too bad. It was a little slick. It wasn't too bad, no.
From a game standpoint, kickoff was supposed to be at 7 o'clock that night. I don't think we started until maybe about 7:30-ish. I've asked a lot of high school guys, not so much this past week, but over the course of the season, what goes on in that extra half hour? Both of you guys are jacked up for a 7 o'clock start time that's been in your mind all week. Now, all of a sudden, it gets delayed. Are we going to play? Aren't we going to play? What was happening in that locker room, if you don't mind me asking, for that hour leading up?
We kind of just chilled, to be honest. Everybody
Okay.
was anxious to play, though, but we can't really do anything about it, so we just sat down.
That is true. Mother Nature is definitely unbeaten. She can do whatever she wants to do. As we're catching up with two of the Maricopa Mustangs, we've got Cody Lazenby as well as Justin Holmes, two terrific individuals. We're going to see one more run, and it seems like the play call in this instance was a designated run. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll take a look and look at the yardage that you gained.
Yeah, so this was actually a pass play.
Okay.
But that DN came quick off that right side, and I didn't want to take a shot getting sacked, so I saw a hole, so I took it.
Okay, terrific
Yeah.
instincts. I mean, that's really something that's almost that, whether we don't call it the third dimension, the fifth dimension of knowing when to run.
Yep.
And now your receivers were kind of clogged up, or did you even have time?
I didn't really have time to make a read.
Okay.
I saw that DN, so I got out of there.
Understandable. And speaking of reads, we are going to read a couple of commercials, actually a main commercial, as we've got Isagenix AMP, Tri-Release Protein, 3 protein types to develop lean muscle and enhance strength. That is all part of staying healthy, as we also have, what do we have here? We have Amped Nitro. Amped Nitro, it kickstarts workouts to sustain energy and elevate intensity. And if you are even remotely interested in being educated on Isagenix, terrific company called Working from the Beach is a big sponsor of Isagenix. You can text 602-370-8241, and the promo code appropriately is Mustangs, as there is also free shipping. The one thing I will mention about the ingredients, Informed Sport Certified, are all of these verified ingredients that are truly certified and legitimate for all collegiate sports. I do have 3 other projects that I will mention as well. We have BCA Plus, as that fuels muscles with key amino acids during your workout, because yes, if you're working out, you want to be able to complete that workout. And we've got 2 more, and I am a big fan of both of these. We have Amped Repair. It helps reduce soreness and rebuild muscles to improve recovery. And last but certainly not least, Amped Hydrate. As Amped Hydrate, it delivers advanced nutrition and hydration at any time of the day. Again, text 602-370-8241. Code word and promo word is Mustangs. And we talked a lot about the offensive side of things, but now we're going to slide over to the defensive side of the ball. We've got defensive end Justin Holmes. And Justin, the first thing that I will ask you, when I was looking at the rosters, even at the beginning of the season, I kind of felt, and this is just from a statistical height weight standpoint, perhaps a little bit undersized.
Definitely, yes, undersized.
But you are more than holding your own against guys who are, and it's not really so much about the height, it's about guys who are 40 and 50 pounds heavier than you. Before we get to some of your highlights, tell us about kind of shooting off that line of scrimmage and dealing with 250-pound linemen at the least.
It all comes down to technique. I feel like weight and your height doesn't really matter if you have great technique, you know. Coach Ledesma at Cactus did a really good job at teaching me how to use my technique, my hands, keep my distance, you know, not let them get inside of my shoulder pads.
Okay, no, you're right. Absolutely, technique is big. From a weight room, what's your workout routine? Because it's about getting stronger, I would imagine, not necessarily getting bigger.
You know, I like to stick to basics, you know.
Okay.
Squat, clean, deadlift, you know, just basics.
Definitely no. Keep it simple, and so far keeping it simple has gotten you into many an opponent backfield.
Yeah.
So no, keep that up. As we're going to take a look at one of Justin Holmes' sacks, and he'll kind of walk us through it. Let's take a look. So Justin, you can kind of explain a little bit about you throwing down QB1 of Papago.
So I kind of wanted to set him up. I threw a rip, That didn't work. I threw, what did I throw? Can you replay it again?
I don't think we can replay it, but basically now, describe the rip. Is that kind of arm technique?
Yeah, a rip, you can throw a rip, just a rip. You can throw that. You can throw a chop,
And chop is keeping their hand.
Yeah, chop is keeping their hands down, If their hands are low, stay low. If hands are high, just stay high, If they shoot their hands high, you can run a forklift, keep their hands high.
Okay.
But yeah, I ran kind of a rip. That didn't work. It jabbed him, threw a rip again, and dipped my shoulder and got free.
Now that quarterback is pretty, I'm going to say, elusive. It's almost like a sack, especially in a scenario like that, is two waves. You get past the offensive lineman, not always easy to do.
Yeah.
But then now you're chasing a quarterback who has some moves. Tell us about kind of that whole 7 seconds of getting past one guy and getting to another.
So, we played him before, so I already knew what to expect. He's a elusive quarterback, so I was kind of prepared for him to roll out, trying to attack his upfield shoulder so he doesn't roll out into the open field and just get loose.
Sure. No, that's good stuff. Tell us about the, I don't want to say the camaraderie necessarily, but how you work with the other defensive linemen on your squad, DeQuarius and Dylan Brown. All three of you guys had some good pressures, but you seemingly got to the QB a little bit more than not.
We talk during the game where we can do better as the game goes on, things the O-linemen are doing, things the quarterback is doing, if he's dropping back more, if you need more pressure down the middle, all that stuff.
One of the things I've noticed, and I've gotten to see 2 of your games this year in person, when you make a tackle, you're not just bringing them down, you're kind of throwing them down. I mean, and that truly is what makes you stand out. It's like if I've got the binoculars on and maybe I've missed something and I see that running back or quarterback go down in a certain play, that's usually you making the play. So we're going to take a look at you tossing down a running back, and Justin, definitely keep an eye out and kind of walk us through this play. Let's take a look.
So it was a zone play, fought off the guard and the tackle, and, came downhill and just made the tackle.
You did make the tackle, that's for sure. It's I'm not even going to say it's not textbook, but you have a distinctive way of really bringing guys down, which I think is very unique, and obviously it is certainly working for you. As we're catching up with Cody Lazenby and Justin Holmes, 2 members of the Maricopa Mustangs. As the Mustangs, they're pushing through. We'll talk about their next game against Salt River in a bit, but we're going to continue our defensive side of things. Justin Papago drove down the field a few more times than you probably would have liked, but there was a certain play that stood out to me in that you guys held your own down at the goal line. We're going to take a look at it, and we'd love for you to kind of, again, walk us through the blocks that you shook off in bringing down the QB. Let's take a look.
He's already going to do a QB sneak, so that's just easy to read, to be honest.
Okay, so yeah. So, I mean, by hand, because it seems like more often than not they were in shotgun, but in this instance, yes, he's right up under center, so is that kind of the tip-off?
Yeah, of course.
Definitely good stuff. And we've got one more play that we're going to show with Justin, as again, he's got a way about tackling that I think is just very, very cool. But the biggest thing is he's big on tackles for loss. He's all about that. But in this case, he's not fooled by the quarterback. Let's take a look.
Oh, yeah. So they ran that a couple times. He pulled it a couple times. And so I kind of played it slow because I didn't want to,
tip off your okay.
Yeah. So he got outside of me a couple of times during this game, so I just played it slow.
Definitely very good stuff. You guys, this time last year, were playing high school football, and Cody, we're going to definitely talk about your experience in Utah. I certainly want to kind of get a gauge of how you got out here, but want to start off with you, Justin. You played in the Open last year, if I'm correct.
Yes.
How was that experience? But before we even talk about that experience, I've got talked to your old coach yesterday because I told him you were coming down. Tell him I love and miss him, and we still need to get him that Letterman's jacket. That's from Coach Ortiz.
Ortiz, yes.
Yes. Tell us about your relationship with Coach Ortiz, because he obviously speaks very highly of you, and you guys put Cactus on the map last year.
Ortiz, excuse me. Ortiz, I had a good relationship with Ortiz. You know, he's a nice guy. He'll do anything for his players. You know, and he did say he would give me a Letterman's jacket. And I've been holding him to that word, so I've been calling him occasionally and be like, "Hey, when are you gonna get my Letterman's jacket?"
He will. He's a man of his word, and he will definitely get that for you. Hopefully sooner rather than later. That's for sure. The Open experience. You guys ultimately fell to Saguaro, but how was it essentially being one of the last 8 teams in the state standing?
It kind of felt like a movie. It felt like a dream. You know, made it to the Open division, played a good team. It was fun. It was a challenge. You know, but we lost. So.
In the end, all good things come to an end, but you having that Open experience, I think, makes you a better player. That's
yes,
for sure.
It was definitely a great experience. It was very fun, very fun.
Cody, your high school experience. Tell us about your senior year. You are from, is it South Bingham?
South Jordan.
South Jordan?
Yep.
Bingham High School.
Yes, sir.
Okay, see, I'm starting to get it down. I'm trying to get it. Tell us about your high school senior year.
Yeah, my senior year was it was rough. I was splitting time with another QB.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, he was younger, but we were splitting time. Didn't get as many minutes as I would like, so I didn't get too many colleges looking at me. Maricopa reached out, and I really liked I met Coach Ziegler.
Okay.
Really liked him, so that's kind of the main reason why.
Sure.
Down here.
Give us the Utah geography. Where is South Jordan in relation to, say, Salt Lake?
It's pretty close. It's like a 20, 30-minute drive.
Okay, so almost a suburb scenario. Gotcha. Yep. And let's go back to you, Justin. After high school is over, were you aware of the HJCAC? What were you kind of going through? Because a lot of kids out there, I don't want to say kids, a lot of players out there still don't realize that there is another level of football within state. Tell us how you landed with the Mustangs.
Well, my my position coach, Coach Lazenby, he told me about it. I had no clue about it before this, so he told me. I got in contact with Coach Weiss, you know, and it went off from there. Wow.
No, that's definitely great to hear. You mentioned a little bit about your time here in Arizona. What are your likes, your dislikes coming over from Utah?
I don't have many dislikes. I'm not a big fan of the snow, so being here in the winter is a plus for sure. It's just, I feel like it's a great place to live.
It is. Yeah. It definitely is, as I think your teammate can tell you. What is it, how is life different? As we know, last year, this time you're in high school. You're playing college football now. You're at home. I think you can elaborate. Tell us about being kind of the fact that you didn't go away yet, but just tell us about this next level.
Wasn't much of a change, you know. Still in the same area. Not much really different, to be honest. You know, it's football.
Sure. No, that's good stuff. Typical week for you guys. You have practice from 3 to 6 or 4 to 6, I think it is. Fortunately, you guys are able to come here in the morning. We definitely appreciate that. Tell us about your time where you studied. Do you guys have part-time jobs? Kind of what goes on in the life of, I'm going to say, teenagers or early 20-somethings? We'll start with you, Cody.
Yeah. Early in the week, I try to get most of my schoolwork done just so I don't have to worry about it come like Saturday game time. Don't want to be stressing about other things. I'm not working right now. I'm trying to focus more on football. Sure. But, yeah, I just try to focus on like school and all that stuff earlier in the week.
Outstanding. How about yourself, Justin?
I actually have a job, but I only work like one time a week. I just make protein shakes at a little LA Fitness bar.
Sure, okay.
School.
And here I am promoting.
Yeah. School, I have plenty of time for school, but I try to get it done early on in the week and, you know, just try to get it out, less stress when it comes to practice.
No, that makes sense. As we start to wind down, typical game day routine for you guys on Saturday. Let's say a home Saturday. Game time's at 7. What time are you waking up? What time do you guys have meetings before? Kind of walk us through a Saturday.
I actually have work. I actually work the morning. So I work 9 to 3. We have to be at the school at 4:30.
Okay.
You know, I eat at work. We have healthy food, so
Sure.
that's always good. And you know, just go on from there and do our thing.
Outstanding. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'll wake up, earlier, get some stuff done, get ready for the game. We usually have meetings around 3 or 4, so I'll show up around that time, start to focus in, and just get ready for game time.
As a quarterback, who do you pattern your game after? Who's maybe your favorite NFL player? Just kind of give us an idea of who you aspire to be.
Yeah, Josh Allen. A lot of people like to say I have like the same play style as him, so I look up to him a lot.
There's some truth to that.
Yeah, so yeah, I look up to him.
How about you, Justin?
Me, it would be Lawrence Taylor, Von Miller, you know, Aaron Donald, all the fast pass rushers like that.
I like that. Football at some point comes to an end. For some kids, it ends with Pop Warner. For Tom Brady, it may never end. We don't know when he's going to retire. What are some of the goals that you guys have outside of football? And Justin, we'll start with you.
I want to get my associate's degree. That's why I'm doing this right now. To move on to a bigger college.
Outstanding, and we'll get specific into that in a second. How about yourself?
Yeah, same with him. I want to get my degree. If football doesn't work out, I want to stay within like the sports business. Try to like maybe own my own business within football someday. So
this is your chance to, I'm going to say, sell yourself. If a college recruiter is looking at this, which there are many, trust me, there are many out there, folks. What does any given next level university get from Cody Lazenby?
They get a hard worker, dedicated, someone that's going to show up every day, work as hard or harder than the person next to him. Someone that loves to compete, someone that loves to win. That's who they would get. And
what does a next level school get from Justin Holmes?
A guy that will always be on top of their stuff. You know, I like to have fun at practice, do what's right. You know, we can play around, talk, joke around, but as long as we're getting down to business, it doesn't matter. You know, I'll always be on time. I love showing up to practice. You know, I don't think about anything else when I'm on the field.
That's outstanding. And you guys will be out on the field 7 o'clock at home or road?
It's at home.
At home, 7 o'clock at Mountain Ridge High School, taking on the Salt River Scorpions. Best of luck to both of you guys. We certainly appreciate you guys coming in. Ball out. We definitely are rooting for you guys, that's for sure. Special thanks to Dynamic Video Solutions and Bill Brasso. Without him, this whole scenario does not function as we're here in our studio in Mesa. Also, thanks to Isogenics and Working from the Beach. My name is Brett Quinton. We will see you guys next week. This is the Locker Room 411 Report, the HJCAC.